Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apocalyptic Gardening. It is May 23rd, 2020, and it is actually freezing cold this morning. Last night, temperatures dipped into the mid-30s, and we had a high wind advisory. Matter of fact, if you look behind me here, you'll see my brand new tree that I just planted is broken, and the top of the tree is sadly laying right there on the ground. So we had some stupid, crazy winds last night, and so the big question is for people trying to garden, what can you do to protect your garden when you have crazy winds like we had last night? So I'm going to show you a couple of great options that you can do. And first, we're going to backtrack a couple of days to some other stuff, and then at the end of this video, I'll show you what I did to protect my garden against the craziness of last night's windstorm. Okay, today's May 21st, 2020, and part of the fun of having 2 acres is yard maintenance. So unfortunately, trees and bushes are constantly dying and having to be maintained and weeded. And usually I don't talk much about that, but one of my beloved apple trees appears to be dead. And so I'm working on some ways to remedy that and make sure my other fruit trees don't find themselves in a similar situation. So I have a new project today, and I'm gonna be pulling the grass back away from the trees to give the trees not only freedom from the grass and the roots of the grass, but also any sort of landscaping, mowing, and trimming. So I'm gonna show you my dead apple tree, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So you can see the fruit trees here. And right here, we have one that just never came about. And if you look at the base of these, I've pulled the grass away a little bit around the edge of this one, but I'm gonna need to do better than that. These little trees growing up here are usually a bad sign that this big tree here is dead. So today, I'm gonna take my shovel, and we're gonna cut probably about a 16-inch circle around all these trees to give them plenty of room. Now I'm gonna kind of show you what I've done to start. So once again, here you can see one of our big, beautiful apple trees. And that grass is just too close. We wanna give it some space. So you can see over here, I've gone through, we've done a 16-inch circle around here. And I'm gonna go ahead and remove this whole piece of grass right here, and we'll just put some bark in around it. Okay, so here's the problem, is we've got roots from the tree kind of mixed in with the grass, and unfortunately, I've chopped some of the roots, so I'm really hoping that doesn't hurt the apple production. But now I need to separate this section of grass that has a lot of the tree roots mixed in with it from the tree. Okay, so here's my problem. Often solving one problem causes another problem. So if you look down here really close, you can see that number one, I've cut some roots, even some bigger ones. I can see over here, I've accidentally cut some large roots. The other problem is, if you look really close here at the base, you can see that there's grass roots mixed in with the tree roots. So how much damage have I already done to this tree, which might make it not produce this year? And how much more damage will I cause by trying to remove the grass out from around the base of this tree? So now I'm wondering, do I even want to do the other trees, because I don't want to damage them like I just did to this one. So I'll flip the camera around and give you a close-up of hopefully what's not a big mistake. So you can see right here, I've scraped this root here, I've chopped all these roots, chopped all these roots. Come over to this side here, you can see these large roots here have been damaged right here, see that? So that's not good. Okay, so as you can see, it looks pretty amazing, but just hoping the cost of removing that grass doesn't ruin all these beautiful little apples we have growing on the tree. Do you know what? I'm gonna plant the garden, and it's a bit of a risk because, like I said last year, I waited 2 weeks after Mother's Day and my plants got destroyed by the winds. So anyways, if you look behind me here, you can see I've got some cauliflower planted right here in a couple places. And then right here, I have a cucumber plant and then another cucumber over there. I got a watermelon plant there, and I'm gonna continue to plant some vegetable plants, and let's just pray that the wind doesn't get out of hand the next few days. Well, this is May 22nd, and this is Utah for you. And this one, it sucks so bad to grow gardens here because we get these crazy, stupid winds that destroy our gardens. So as you know, I planted my garden just a couple days ago, and it's really trying to destroy everything. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you a little trick I do that helps save and preserve my plants. So if you look here, you can see the bucket right here that's covering the plant. Put a large rock on top of it to keep the bucket from blowing away. I got all my plants underneath here. Unfortunately, I was a little late and the wind already destroyed, well, I don't know if it destroyed, but beat up some of the plants pretty good. You can see here I've done kind of the same thing. As a matter of fact, the wind is so bad, my garbage can is missing. Someone said they saw it blowing all the way down the street, so I'm gonna get it, but I've got sand in my teeth right now. Okay, so now we're back to May 23rd, and we're talking about things you can do to protect your plants versus these crazy windstorms. And one of the best ways to protect your garden and your plants from the crazy weather, no matter where you live, is to build a greenhouse. In my situation, I have an underground greenhouse. Outside, I don't even think it's 40 degrees yet, but you can look inside the greenhouse here, and we are sitting around 80 degrees, 80. So that means I have some happy plants. So let's step inside. I'm gonna flip the camera around and kind of show you what's happening with the underground greenhouse. And then we're gonna step outside and I'm gonna show you what I did to protect my garden outside. Okay, so first thing you see here is my strawberry tower. And if you look really close, you can see some tiny little strawberries growing in here. You can look there and there. So that looks like it's working. You can see the cauliflower plants are getting huge. I've got some lettuce growing in there. The 2 tomato plants back here are looking great. And then you got the spaghetti squash here with a big, beautiful flower on it. We've got some fruits growing on here. So if you look, up there, you can see a fruit growing. There's another one down under here. And then if you look right here, we have a ladybug larva right here. Those are great creatures because they eat the aphids. And I have had some problems with aphids in here, but if you look right here, you can see another little guy crawling along. And then, of course, we've got like the zucchini plant growing here, and you can see we actually, if you look down between those leaves there, you can see a zucchini growing there. And then over here, we have another spaghetti squash plant, and once again, you can see a big, beautiful, bright flower just growing in here. And look down there. There is actually some fruit growing on this plant as well. But if you look closely, you can see my enemy, some aphids. You can see them crawling around on this plant. So hopefully a ladybug comes along and takes care of those for me. Over here, we have some cucumbers. And if you look really closely, you'll see some tiny little cucumbers growing. Maybe have to look down in under here. Lots of flowers. And then of course, on the spaghetti squash plant, you can see right back here, this is getting really big, but it's growing right there. So of course, if you look right here, we've got, that is a lily koi bush. And I have another one right here. We have our Yukon Gold potatoes growing in here. That's our lime tree. Some red potatoes here and there, down here, you see it? And then back here is our lemon tree. And here is our orange tree. This is our little orange tree. And if you look closely here, you can see we have a little orange growing right here. And we actually have some oranges growing up here, and they're actually getting bigger. So that's good news. And then coming over here, you see our grapefruit tree. And if you look up here, you can see a couple of grapefruits right there growing. Another one there. These are getting pretty big, pretty fast. So I'm excited to see if these will actually give us grapefruits this year. It'll be the first time for this tree. And then of course we have our other orange tree over here, and this tree also has some oranges growing on it. And then the avocado tree, which we just planted about a month ago, you can see it is actually growing and doing great. Okay, so now we're headed out to the garden, and I'm gonna show you what I did to protect the plants out here. I put these little buckets and planter things over my plants to protect them from the weather. I'd left the lettuce and spinach out, but if you come over here, I did the same thing. So yesterday when the wind really started picking up, I ran out here and covered the plants. And now the dilemma is, do I uncover them? Because it is expected to rain today, and it is currently still breezy out here. And the last thing I want is for my plants to get ruined after I've planted them. So I think I'm probably just gonna leave all these little buckets and barrels covering them today, and hopefully they're okay in there like that. Okay, that's it for this update of apocalyptic gardening. Thank you for joining me. Please give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to follow the progress of my underground greenhouse and the garden out there, please hit the subscribe button below and ring that little bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.